The philosophical debate over artificial intelligence is over. The arguments about safety and risk have crashed into the physical reality of the legal system. In Oakland, California, a federal jury is deciding if a technology company breached its original mission. In Springfield, Illinois, two dominant AI developers are backing entirely opposite state liability laws. And in Salt Lake City, Utah, a state medical board is fighting to shut down an autonomous prescription pilot. These three locations are actively answering one question: who pays the price when an AI system harms a human being? The trial in Oakland is the bellwether for the entire industry. This is a strict legal test of corporate obligations. Elon Musk and his legal team argue that OpenAI abandoned its nonprofit safety mandate to chase massive financial returns. Sam Altman and the defense argue restructuring the company was the only viable way to fund the staggering computing power required for frontier models. This introduces the legal concept of duty of care. The jury must decide if an AI developer owes a higher obligation to protect the public than to enrich its financial stakeholders. The verdict will dictate your personal legal recourse. The internal financial mission of the lab building your tools directly determines whether they are legally responsible when those tools fail. That courtroom theory is currently being codified into actual law by the Illinois state legislature. OpenAI is backing Senate Bill 3444. This represents Theory 1, the liability shield. This table outlines the bill's protections. Developers are immune unless their system intentionally or recklessly causes 100 deaths or $1 billion in damage. They argue complete immunity from micro-litigation is required. Otherwise, constant lawsuits would gridlock releasing powerful new models. The trade-off is stark. Society gets lightning-fast innovation, but individual users have zero legal recourse if an AI model damages their business or mental health. The liability shield asks the public to accept localized, individual harm as a necessary, legally protected cost of maintaining national technological supremacy. That individualized harm is actively occurring in the market today. The state of Utah authorized an AI prescribing pilot called Doctronic. They allowed the system to go live without consulting the state medical licensing board. Security researchers quickly jailbroke the public-facing AI. They successfully manipulated the system into generating false vaccine information and recommending triple doses of OxyContin. The Utah Medical Board issued a formal demand to immediately suspend the entire state pilot to protect citizens from unsupervised medical guidance. The medical data extends to the mental health sector. The Journal of Medical Internet Research just published a peer-reviewed study tracking generative AI chatbot use among young adults. This chart shows the direct dose-response relationship. For young adults at elevated psychosis risk, intensive chatbot use correlates with a 13 to 30% spike in delusion-related interactions. Treating the AI as a therapist or romantic partner results in measurable psychological distress for vulnerable teens. The Doctronic pilot and the psychosis data show the flaw in the liability shield. Waiting for a 100-person mass casualty event ignores the severe, individualized damage happening right now. Anthropic is backing the counterproposal in Illinois, Senate Bill 3261. This is Theory 2, the public safety plan. This flowchart maps out the bill's enforcement mechanism. It creates a private right of action. If an AI causes severe emotional distress or bodily harm to a child, the family can directly sue the developer. The threat of direct liability forces developers to radically change how they release products. Anthropic recently proved this with Project Glasswing. During internal testing, Anthropic discovered their newest model could autonomously exploit 17-year-old cyber vulnerabilities across major operating systems. Because of their strict liability posture, they chose to permanently withhold the model from the public. The public safety plan produces heavily audited, safer products, but it kills public access to the most advanced capabilities. It aggressively protects the individual and the child, but simultaneously bottlenecks the entire global ecosystem's access to these cutting-edge technological tools. There is no perfect legislative solution here. There is only a choice of which pain society is willing to tolerate. This quadrant chart maps the two competing corporate models, measuring cohesive release against corporate accountability. If you demand maximum innovation to compete globally, you have to accept the liability shield. Individual users will suffer severe harm, and they will have no way to sue. If you demand corporate accountability and child protection, you have to accept the public safety plan. AI labs will hoard their most capable models behind closed doors. You cannot have both. You have to decide if the return on bleeding-edge capability is worth the risk of localized human harm. For enterprise leaders and tech adopters, deploying rapid AI tools for a business edge relies entirely on the liability shield winning the legal war. For healthcare professionals and parents, protecting patients and children from algorithmic harm requires the public safety plan to become the law of the land. Stop looking at shiny new AI capabilities in a vacuum. Start paying attention to the legal scaffolding being built around them today. Watch the jury instructions in Oakland and the upcoming floor votes in Illinois. They are the immediate indicators of which reality will win. The legal template established in these 3 specific venues this year will become the permanent national standard dictating your AI future.